Hello, this is Alec Dukas, and this is probably going to be the most anal retentive video you're ever going to watch on this channel, but it is probably done for humorous purposes. Thunderball. This look has Sean Connery use a toupee that seems to be covering up his hairline. I can't seem to see why they did this, considering his hair looks really good in the first 3 Bond films. They probably did this because they were getting ready for the underwater scenes for Thunderball, but Sean Connery had his hair cut too short. See, right there, that looks pretty good. But here, this is probably one of the worst looks in the entire film. His hair is just combed to the side. They didn't seem to bother to really do anything about it, to invent a hairline. His hair and makeup must have just got really tired and spent no time, so they just put gel or mousse and they just matted it down, and that's what they did. You watch Goldfinger, when his hairline was really, really thin, Sean Connery had a pretty good toupee going on for this film. They invented a hairline, they even gave him a little bit of a brown mix at the top, and it looks good. It looks like real hair. His best hair probably is in You Only Live Twice after Thunderball. That's probably when it looked the best, the sweaty hair, fringe, and it looked great for a poster. And nobody does it better when it came to Sean Connery. Diamonds Are Forever is probably one of the worst looks for Sean Connery's toupee. It almost appears that his toupee is too far back. They just slapped it on and put it far back. Now why is that? It's because Sean Connery seemed to have lost hair on the sides of his head as well. I mean, Charles Gray's hair looks better than Sean Connery's hair looks in this film. So it creates a look that whenever he looked up, his hair looked a bit thin. Props to that fall. Never Say Never Again, his hair looked a lot better. The hair is still kind of matted, but when sweaty, his hair looked a lot better. It looked more realistic. Somebody had the brilliant idea, I guess it was a hair and makeup wig department, to add hair to the sides of his head, so then his toupee could be further in the front, so it looks a lot better, more realistic. Roger Moore didn't really have a bad hair day. In fact, he was the first actor to really say that Bond should never have a bad hair day. So, what you see instead in A View to a Kill is probably the only example of it looking bad, because he's in a tank, so his hair looks kind of thin there because he has no product in his hair. There's no hairspray, there's no mousse, nothing to slick it back or to the side. His hair is probably quite similar to David Niven, who had curly hair growing up, so his hair tended to curl in the back, whether you used product or not. It was only something you really looked at if you watched Roger and the Spy Who Loved Me. They probably needed to give him more of a haircut in the back, or trim it a bit, or put some product in the back of his hair too, so they could just comb it down. It's really the only times that we even come close to something looking like a bad hair day for Roger. Timothy Dalton's hair in License to Kill baffles me, because it looks as if they decided to comb his hair down on the sides and leave it bushy, which created the effect that the hair on the top of his head is thinning, which probably is not the case because this is only 2 years after The Living Daylights, and his hair looks great in The Living Daylights, but for some reason his hair looks like he hasn't showered. It doesn't look like he has kept his hair, combed his hair even when he's ready for Felix's wedding. He looks like someone that was preparing to have his hair combed backwards for the slicked back hair look, which unfortunately gives him kind of a Steven Seagal look. His hair in The Living Daylights looks just right. It looks like a very good cut where they combed his hair to the sides back, and his hair at the top is nice and bushy and full. It's quite a normal look for Bond. It's something that works entirely perfectly in The Living Daylights, but for some reason it just does not work in License to Kill. His hair does look bushy on the sides in The Living Daylights, but deliberately trying to give his hair a Miami Vice MacGyver look in the 1980s, which would have been very popular, but just keep it combed. The World Is Not Enough is probably the best example of somebody being very anal retentive about what exactly is going on with Bond's hair. I'm only showing this because some people on the internet have pointed out that they really don't like Pierce's haircut in The World's Not Enough, that it's a little too short when it blows in the wind or when it gets mounted down by water. It looks as if no product in it. It almost makes him look too boyish. In fact, that this is the youngest look Pierce Brosnan or any Bond has ever had, by keeping it almost like a hair with no product, no mousse, just he cut it one day and then he got out. it's probably easier to say that in Dino the Day his look looks a little bit better because it's closer to the look in Tomorrow Never Dies. It's longer and just slicked back hair, and there's nothing much to it except maybe a little bit of mousse or hairspray. Quantum of Solace, really such bad looking hair for Daniel. It looks almost like a wig. It looks odd in the light. It almost hits his hair as if it was red, and we all know that Daniel Craig is not a redhead. He's not got any auburn hair in his genetics whatsoever, so for whatever reason, this hair is reflecting back the color red in the hues. And when he combs it down, it almost looks like a Caesar cut to prevent anyone from seeing a hairline, which is bizarre because his hair looked just fine in Casino Royale, but in Quantum of Solace, it's almost like he lost a bunch of hair suddenly, and they had to color it. Judi Dench's hair looks better than Daniel's hair in Quantum. By Skyfall, it may have happened that Daniel had to get hair restoration, so this is after he had surgery and the hair is growing back very short, so they kept the hair at a short buzz cut for Skyfall. It's not a bad look. It actually is very reminiscent of Barry Nelson's Bond's hair in Casino Royale, which is just military crew cut hair buzz, and it looks good on Daniel. It's kind of the beginning of his hair starting to look better, but his hair in Spectre is vastly better. It looks like it has product. Some days you can see the days when they did not put any product in his hair, but it looks normal. It looks like a natural look. What did you think? What were Bond's worst hair days? Again, this is just for laughs. I didn't really think about this in a very serious way. I just never saw a video about this. So the winners are two-way tie between Quantum of Solace and Diamonds Are Forever for Bond's worst hair. Whether it's a wig or a toupee, at least trim those eyebrows, Sean. Or maybe Bond should have just had a hat on like he used to do. So what do you guys think? Was that a little bit too much of a silly change of pace? So, I apologize. Till then, have a good hair day.